Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Weekly Brief. I'm Robbie Feinberg. I'm the Director of Communications and Government Relations at the Maine School Management Association. We are about 2 weeks away right now from the end of the legislative session, or when they're expected to end. They're supposed to end June 18th this year. So we are very closely approaching the end of the session. So we wanted to give you a rundown of where things are, what advocacy steps you can take, kind of really take you through all of that. Most things have now changed from committee work to the full House and the Senate. This is where things can really get unpredictable. This is whole caucuses working together. This means we've got dozens of people bringing their own opinion on many different bills. So there's a lot of uncertainty at this time period, but there's also a lot that you can do to work together with us to ensure that Maine schools are heard as part of this process. So we'll get underway right now, and I will share my screen. All right, so to start, I actually want to talk about a little bit of good news first from the House and the Senate, and then we will get into more about advocacy work and the ways that you can work together with us. So I want to start with the bill LD 1103. This is an act around unallocated fund balances in SAU budgets. And this has been a priority for our organization this year. Over the past roughly 4 years or so, the amount that could be carried over for a school district from one year to the next in an unallocated fund balance went up to 9%. But that's set to drop down to 5% this month, actually, because of a sunset that was included in that original law. This sort of money is really important to have. This is kind of, you could think of it as almost a rainy day fund, a little bit of financial flexibility for our schools. And it has proven really vital over the past few years when there has been a lot of financial uncertainty. Schools have been able to really prepare using these sorts of funds. They've been able to use it to maybe avoid cutting programming. They've been able to use it to cut property taxes. It's been a really useful tool that a lot of schools have been able to use in order to really smooth out their property taxes, in order to ensure that they do have a bit of a financial cushion from each year to the next. And what this bill would basically do is it would just say we're going to keep that fund balance at 9% going forward. And we have already had some good news in both the House and the Senate in last week. So this bill was passed to be engrossed in both the House and the Senate. What that means is that both gave initial approval to this bill. It will once again go before both bodies, likely at some point this week, and then get to the governor. However, it's a really good sign that this bill was able to really make its way and through the House and the Senate, and not only that it did on that first approval, but that it went through under the hammer. That meant that there were no roll call votes at all on this vote. There was no debate about this bill. This comes after the Education Committee supported this bill by a 12-1 margin. So this is a really encouraging sign here. We don't expect this to be controversial all that much at all. And so we're really hoping that this bill can pass and this can make its way through the House and the Senate one more time this week and then get to the governor's desk and hopefully pass. So there's no guarantees about anything, but we are certainly encouraged about this, and we will keep you informed about this in the days and the weeks ahead. So, what is left in the legislature? As I mentioned, votes in the House and the Senate, the full House and the Senate over the next few weeks. That is what we will likely see. There will be lots of lawmakers discussing things with each other, going back and forth. This will be very unpredictable during this time period. It will likely mean some long days and nights. We've already had a few of those. It will likely continue like that over the next few weeks. As I mentioned, adjournment date is set for June 18th, so just a few weeks left in the legislature. So, what can you do right now? The biggest step that you can take is to reach out to your local lawmakers about particular bills that we are highlighting as an organization that would directly impact schools. If you head to our legislative advocacy page, and that's right there on that link, msmaweb.com. I know it's a long link, /o/msba/page/legislative advocacy. You can actually find a link right at if you just go to msmaweb.com, and there's right on the homepage, you can find a link to our legislative advocacy page. And when you go there, you will be taken to this screen that you are seeing right here. And this screen basically, what we've put together is talking points and sample letters to your lawmakers on 5 priority bills. And you see here, you can click on any of these individual, you're just seeing 3 of them right here, but any of these individual buttons right here, you can click on them, and that will take you to talking points, infographics, and sample letters to lawmakers about the importance of all of these different bills right here. There are 5 that we are really closely watching in the House and the Senate right there. So you can just click on any of those. This is really, really useful. What we're really hoping that this will be used. So all you have to do is click on these links, and this is what you will pull up right here. You will get to a Google Drive folder for actually each of these different bills. And inside each of these folders will be, as I mentioned, talking points, informational flyers, sample letters. We're hoping that this can be really one-stop shopping for you to get a good template for what you can say, but also to allow you to customize it and really talk about local impacts of all of these different bills. So we're going to give an example of what's in here. We'll just start with one bill, and this is LD 653. This is a bill that would allow teacher overtime, and we have been pushing back on this heavily. We just do not think that this is the right approach whatsoever. Would create so many unintended consequences, and so we've put together talking points for you to be able to really reach out to your legislators about this before this does go to the House and the Senate. And then once we know that when this does get its first votes, we'll be reaching out once again to you about this bill. So when you click on this link right here, you will get a Google folder. And what you will find first is a sample letter to your representative, just a few paragraphs long, walking you through the concerns that we do have with this particular bill. Just saying, I'm writing to express my concerns about this bill and asking you to oppose it, laying out the different reasons. And we encourage you to put in specific information from your own district here. How much would this cost? What would this mean for your district? This would really go a long way and would really helps to give a succinct explanation to lawmakers to make sure that they are informed about bills like this one. You'll also find talking points that are really laid out here. These go in more detail about each of these individual bills. And if you want to use that, that's a good way for you to just stay informed and really get more information about a bill like this one. And then we've also put together infographics as well, just easy ways for you to be able to put together and have a bit more of an aesthetic view of this issue, and just really highlights the big concerns or the big ideas to focus on with each of these different bills. So that's one that you can find right here as well. So once you've got all of that, once you've got all that information, you may be asking yourself, maybe you haven't connected with your local representative or senator. How do you do that? So some best ways to do it is you can actually go to our legislative advocacy dashboard as well, and you can find links right to there, and there are links right there for how to find your representative and your senator. But there are also easy ways to go about doing this as well. You can actually head to the main House of Representatives website. There's a direct link from there, and you can actually search for your town and find exactly who your representative is by what town you live in. So one way is to go to that link on the House of Representatives website, just search for your town, hit Control F, and you'll see it's laid out by an alphabetical listing of towns. And you can search, okay, I live in Alna. I know that this is my particular legislator, my particular representative. And then once you've got that, you can just click on view, and that gives you both the email and the phone number for that representative. So that's an easy way to go about connecting with your local representative. Again, you'll find it right there. You click on view, and that will pull up information, the email, the phone number. You'll have all of that information right there. It should be very easy for you to find using these sorts of links. Similar process for the Senate. If you just head to the Senate website, you'll also find a link there for Find Your State Senator, and it's exact same kind of process. You click on that, and you will search for your town. Once you've located your senator, you can just, from there, you can just click on their name, and that has information on their email and their phone number. They've made it pretty easy on the House and the Senate websites, so it's an easy way to go about finding your representative and your senator that way. So again, like I mentioned, just Control F for your town, search for maybe Alna. Again, you can find out who your senator is by just using a link like that. Click on the link, and it'll pop up with their email and their phone number. Then go about sending that email once you've got that information. You can base it off of the legislative email that we've put together, that kind of sample letter to your lawmakers. But a few key points to hit. Number one, make it pretty short. Hit those key issues quickly. We've tried to keep these sample letters pretty short so that, they don't overwhelm somebody with a ton of information, but do lay out the importance of, hey, this is why this bill would be good. This is why this bill would be particularly bad. Talk about local impacts. How would this affect your school? Talking about how would this specifically affect students. This is really important. And then end with a call to action. Specifically say, please oppose this bill or please support this bill. And in your messaging, please be forceful, but be respectful. These are people. So just be clear in your opinions, but respectful of their position on issues as well. Just really try to share why this would impact local schools and, the steps that you think should be taken, whether to oppose or to support a particular piece of legislation. So once you've put all that in that email, send it out and hopefully you'll be able to get a response. Legislators do really check their email. They really do follow during this process, and your advocacy really does make a difference during this period. And then here's just one example as well. We talked about LD 653, a short email just laying all of that here. You can copy and paste from our website right there and to put that information there. So it should be a pretty easy process for you. So some next steps you can take is, like I mentioned, LD 653 is a really good one to start with, but we also have other bills that we're watching as well, and you can find those on our website. We have got bills on student behavior laws. We've got bills on school meals that we are supporting. Our unallocated fund balance bill that we mentioned, as well as a bill on student transfers that we are supporting. You can stay up to date on all of this by going to our legislative dashboard. And that is a really important way for you to stay on top of all of these different bills. The other thing that we will be doing is that once we know a bill is scheduled for a vote in the House or the Senate, we will need you to reach out to your legislators again. So when we know that a certain bill will be being heard, we will text you or email you and say, hey, reach out right now about this particular bill. Circle back with your lawmaker. Again, encourage them to reach out. That will go a really long way in terms of ensuring that your voices and the voices of schools are really heard in both the House and the Senate. The other thing that you can do right now is you can keep track on the status of bills on our link from our legislative dashboard. We've got a link right there which will take you through. We're trying to keep track as best we can a lot of different priority bills for our schools, laying out what's become law so far, laying out what's on the appropriations table, what is still in the House and the Senate, and what hasn't been taken up yet. All of this is likely to move really fast over the next few weeks. So we will try to update that as quickly as possible for you, but you will certainly be seeing a lot of changes very quickly there. Any of those steps are great, but what we would really ask is during the next few weeks to stay in contact with us. We will be reaching out to you probably pretty regularly about several of these bills, saying please reach out, make your voice heard on these particular issues. That will go a really long way. So we are hoping that you can work together with us, partner with us to make all of this work. And that's all that we've got so far. Again, we are just laying out kind of where we stand with all of these different bills, but we really do hope that you can work together with us on a lot of partnership, a lot of advocacy on these measures. We will keep you up to date as best as we can. Likely a lot of our communications over the next few weeks will be kind of the rapid kind. When we know a bill is up for a vote, we will be letting you know as soon as possible, whether that is the night before, which sometimes it unfortunately is, but also when we know a bill is just come out of committee, we will let you know right away to say, hey, this bill is out. Reach out right now, make your voice heard on these different issues. And all of this will go a really long way. You'll be getting different alerts from us about these particular issues, and we really hope that you can stay involved and to stay informed. Again, we will try to keep you as informed as possible over the next few weeks as we make its way through the end of the session. So thank you so much again for all of your support over the past few months, and we will certainly talk soon. Thank you so much.